And we are live. How are we doing today, Graham?
I'm doing excellent.
You're doing
How you doing,
excellent, dude.
Sean?
Dude, I am up stupendously right now.
I love to hear that.
Dude, this has been a pretty good day. I've been feeling pretty good.
I like
School was
that.
good. We had a little Google Meet with our Frisbee friends.
We did.
We did. We play Ultimate Frisbee, just to let you guys know. That's
A
why
little fun fact.
it's a little fun fact about us. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun, right, Graham?
We enjoy it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we do.
have. I have fun. I
Graham,
like it.
you're the captain, right?
I am a captain.
You're
I'm
my
only
captain.
captain.
You're
I'm
my
your
captain.
captain.
You're my captain. You're oh captain, my captain.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm like the
That
you're like the George Bush
I
of
am.
Ultimate Frisbee.
I am.
You are.
I am.
Yeah,
That's me.
that is you. All right. So yeah, this is episode. What are we on? 6 now?
6. Yep.
Jesus Christ, we've been doing this
Powering
for
through
six
them.
weeks. Powering them through. We had 40 to go after this. Oh man. But yeah. Uh, who are we talking about today, Graham?
Today we're talking about John Quincy Adams,
JQA,
JQA.
as us boys like to call him. All right, so I guess we'll just start out with a little background. Probably the most important thing about his background is that he is the son of John Adams, who we talked about a few weeks ago.
Big move.
No, he's big in government. He runs for president as a Democratic Republican. He does all that stuff. He has a little rivalry with a certain other character who we will talk about later. What else? What else? He holds a bunch of positions before he's president. I believe he's Secretary of State at one point, right?
I do believe. Yeah, he is.
He is. Yeah. So he holds a bunch of Congress positions. He does a lot of pretty good stuff. He helps with the Monroe Doctrine under Monroe.
Oh yeah.
He's got a lot of things under his belt. So let's just get right into it. Why don't we, Graham? Let's get right into it. So I know you have some things to talk about in terms of John Quincy Adams.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what? I will let you take it away.
Really?
I will let you take it away. Like a baby robbing a no wait. No, it's a guy robbing candy from I can't talk. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
I know. I know. I get you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get you. All right.
You're gonna rob things and you're gonna take it away.
All right. So first thing we start off with is the Treaty of Ghent, and this takes place in 1812. This is actually at the beginning of the War of 1812,
Mm.
and this is before Adams is president, but it's a very important part of his career because it really shows him as a political figure. See, Adams was afraid of the idea of a British war, like the War of 1812, and this was seen through the British practices of impressment and taking over lands that belong to America and not respecting America's space, you know?
Yo,
And so it
they,
gets to the
they ain't
point where we
respecting that
have,
shit.
yeah, they're not respecting them.
They ain't respecting that shit.
And like, yeah, as you're talking, like, Britain just doesn't respect United States. They're still like, you're this new nation, you don't matter to us. We'll step on you if we want. Um, but actually, what happens is, America wins a battle against Britain in the Battle of Plattsburgh, and this makes Britain rethink. They're like, whoa, maybe America is kind of a force to be reckoned with.
Mm.
So around in November 1814, the government of Lord Liverpool is like, hey, that's his name.
Bro,
That's his name.
that's
It's a,
hilarious.
it's a tough name. So he's like, you know what? It's not worth it. You know what? We'll let America live. We'll let you guys chill out. So, and Adams is kind of like on the other side. He kind of wants the same thing. He's like, we don't really want war, but we're not gonna like make it look like we're cowards or anything.
Oh yeah.
So they ultimately signed the Treaty of Ghent, and
Mhm.
if you really look at it, the United States really doesn't gain anything from it. Like if you really read into it, you realize that the United States doesn't like they don't win any territory. They don't get the fact that they won a war or anything. It's just the fact that kind of that America survived the war. They didn't lose it, but they didn't win it.
Mm.
And so this is one of the first, Adams gets this treaty in, and this is an important because it technically ends the war. So this was a big move on his part, and
I fuck with that.
one of the
Yeah.
big moves that he made. The second thing that's very important that he did, and this is also before his presidency. This is really how he establishes himself. So the Adams Onis Treaty. We really talked about this in the last episode,
Mm.
but this was, Spain America wants Florida, Spain has Florida, and eventually Spain is willing to give Florida to America for a certain amount of money, and they also want America to remove the natives. And this is when our boy Jackson comes in, gets rid of all the natives, and Spain is like, all right, we'll sell you Florida for, I believe it was $5 million. And so America's like, bet that's petty cash to us. So they signed the Adams-Onis Treaty, and this, gives Florida to America. It also sets up the territories and the boundaries between Spanish and American lands. So, Adams was also behind this. He's an important figure in getting this treaty passed, which is another strong example of how he's an important political figure before he's even president.
That is very amazing.
It is very amazing.
Very amazing.
And kind of just to transition, and this is now we're finally in. This is partly when he just becomes president. So what happens is then eventually John Quincy Adams, he runs for president in 1824 against our boy, public enemy number one among the natives, Andrew Jackson.
The madman himself.
The madman.
The madman himself.
And we love Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
We love Jackson out here. We love him.
Jackson's a funky dude.
We'll give you a little background before we get into this. So the main players in this situation are, we have JQA, we have Jackson, but we also have a man named Henry Clay. Henry Clay.
Big
Sean,
Hank.
how do we feel about Henry Clay?
How do I feel about Hank?
Yeah, how do we feel about him?
Man, well, I know I would call him the biggest loser in president elections.
How
many times did he run? Like 4?
I think it's 4 times he runs and loses.
The dude takes so many L's.
Took too many L's.
Like
at least he was determined, but he couldn't pull it. He couldn't pull it off. He couldn't win.
Oh yeah, he couldn't do it.
So Henry Clay, one of the more failed. Well, not failed, but just when it comes to trying to become president, he's kind of a failure. But everywhere else, he is an important, influential political figure. So in the year of 1824, and this is also, Jackson and Henry Clay really don't get along. Like, really, really don't get along.
No fucking shit, bro.
They really don't get along.
They don't
because Jackson killed a few natives. So
he does
what happens is Clay's like, I'm not, like, Clay's like, if I can't be president, there's no way Jackson. I'm not gonna let. And the other thing is, Clay actually didn't like Adams either, but he would rather that Adams be president over Jackson. So this was interesting because Clay was kind of like, if I can't be president, I'd rather have someone like Adams in the place instead of Jackson. So what happens is it comes down to a tie between Jackson and Adams. And Henry Clay at the time is the Speaker of the House. A lot of power, a lot of influence in the House, in government, in U.S. politics. And what happens is Clay makes a deal. He's like, hey, I'll put my weight behind you, Adams, so that we can beat Jackson. And Adams is like, 100%, whatever it takes to beat Jackson. Because Adams wants to be president. He wants to win. And Jackson, like, sees this, and he's like, whoa. He's like, how is this fair? It's like a 2v1 at this point.
Yeah. 2v1.
And the other thing, though, I forgot to mention is that it's kind of quid pro quo, where Clay supports Adams, and Adams gives Clay the position of Secretary of State.
Oh yeah.
Because this is important, because Secretary of State is a more powerful role than the Speaker of the House. Yeah. So this gives Clay more influence, and if he's not president, at least he gets a higher role than he already has.
He gets a pretty high. So, I don't know if it's like, I don't know if you can equate those two, because I mean, like, Speaker of the House, that's like the head of like Congress and shit.
That's true.
And then I guess Secretary of State, it's like a high position in the executive branch. I don't know.
I would agree with that. The thing is, Clay wants this position, and he's going to get it.
Yeah.
So it's important to him, and Jackson sees this, and he's outraged. He's like, this isn't fair, 2v1, like how? And so what happens is, with Clay behind him, Adams wins the election of 1824, and we'll talk about this more in the Jackson episode, but this is what he called the corrupt bargain, because he believed that this was not fair, that Adams did not fairly win the presidency. And this is basically how JQA gets elected as president, by making this deal with Clay. So take it as you will.
You should take that as you will. Now, I guess very interesting, Graham. There's very, very wonderful things there. Now we're going to talk about, I mean, like, Adams, in all seriousness, doesn't have a lot like big accomplishments during his presidency. He only serves one term because he's beaten by Jackson in the election of 1828. But he does have kind of one really influential thing that he does that him and it's kind of like he does like a collab with Henry Clay, who's a Secretary of State, and this is called the American system.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
the American system consists of a few parts. So, what's in the American system? First, tariffs. That's going to help businesses and shit. You know, it's going to make it like more difficult for other countries to import their like products and stuff. So like if we're like bringing stuff, if we want to buy like a British thing, it's going to be like more expensive. What that does is it puts an incentive on customers to buy American-made products, which then boosts American business, thus building up our economy. The second thing that this American system does is establishes a bank. So we get some more national banks, going, more currency in circulation, more managing of currency. It's pretty cool. Now the final kind of like part of our little thing here, the American system, is the development of more internal improvements. So this goes for this is like infrastructure and stuff. So like roads, canals, railroads, which is going to be huge. It's going to be absolutely huge for the country, because what railroads are going to do is allow us to travel longer distances in a faster amount of time, which is pretty fucking cool. Because what do you get when you have big railroads and you're able to travel faster across the land? Is that the country eventually, it's like metaphorically, becomes smaller. Everything becomes more interconnected. We become more of like a national kind of like a unified country, which is it's pretty cool. So all of these help to bolster the economy, which is honestly pretty good for American businesses. Obviously, improvement of transportation is going to be huge for businesses. It allows them to ship their goods much more easily. The tariff obviously speaks for itself of why it helps American businesses. So yeah, and the bank obviously it helps to stabilize the currency, which kind of like unifies the entire country in a way, because the national currency is stable. It's gonna become more, I guess, streamlined for the rest of the nation. So yeah, honestly, American system pretty good. So yeah, a lot of cool things happen from the American system. What are your thoughts on the American system, Graham? You think it's
I
pretty
would
cool?
say I like it. I think it's pretty cool.
Dude, I think it's pretty cool. Henry Clay, that's like Henry Clay's like big thing. He's big on like the American system.
Hey man, he couldn't win a presidency, but at least he could make
I
a hell
know.
of a
This is like
system.
it's like the John Quincy Adams and Henry Clay episode, because the two are so
They are
intertwined. They're like a dynamic duo. They're
like
like
yin
us.
and yang.
Like
They are
us.
really like us.
I know.
Who do you think you are in this relationship?
Man, I'm probably Henry Clay, not gonna lie.
I would say.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm JQA. I'm
Yeah,
cool with that.
I'd say that. You won the presidency.
That makes sense.
You did win the captain's position on
I did
ultimate
win the
frisbee. You
captain
did,
position. That is
even though
true.
I didn't even run, nor
Hey
would have
man,
ever considered running.
if you ran, I would have voted for
You
you.
would
I'll be
vote for me?
real.
That's good
Oh,
to hear.
of course I would have.
I'm not usually one for leadership positions though. I'm
I
more of
feel
the
that.
I'm more there for the boys.
I respect that.
You respect that?
I appreciate that.
Dude, I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you too,
Dude. Dude. I
dude.
appreciate you.
And I appreciate you,
Man. That's pretty cool. Man.
man.
So I mean, like, we pretty much covered most, like, the
I would
big
say yeah.
things. I
Those
mean,
are
like
the important things.
there's not much to John
Yeah,
Quincy Adams.
unfortunately. I mean, he does small
He
things.
does
I'd
some
say
other smaller
he does
things.
other stuff. I mean, he does important things outside of the presidency and a few important things inside the
Yeah.
presidency. But I
Like,
feel like
I mean, like I will say, after he exits the presidency, he does a lot in Congress.
that is true.
He serves in Congress for several years. He helps to promote the anti-slavery movement. It's pretty good.
You know, if you guys want, maybe we'll do, you know, a couple spin-off episodes of how presidents end up after
We
the
could do
presidents.
that.
I would say I would be down to do that later.
Dude,
You know, maybe
we have a
little
lot
smaller
of good
segments.
spin-off ideas.
I'd say like
Graham,
maybe like,
remember
you
when I
know,
was talking about a judicial review?
judicial review.
That's another thing. For all of you listeners at home, I am a huge Supreme Court nerd. Obviously, judicial branch is the best branch of government, hands down,
Clearly.
hands clearly. If you don't think that the judicial branch is the best branch of government, there's something wrong with you. Like who likes Congress? Who
Not
likes
me.
them? No one. They just kind of sit around, do their thing. They're like, oh, let's pass laws and gridlock. And then the presidency, there's like, I'm the president. And then they do that. Judicial branch is like, yo, I just got appointed for life, and I get paid a
Exactly.
lot. And all I have to
Bro,
do is just give my opinion on things. Like, that's awesome.
that is
Who
awesome.
doesn't want to be a Supreme Court justice?
It's tough.
It is tough to do it, though. Like, tough to get appointed.
Bro, literally all of them come from like Harvard or Yale. It's nuts.
Oh, yeah. I know they all come from Harvard. You know how I knew that?
Did you learn that in AP Gov?
I absolutely learned that in AP Cove we share a teacher. We share
We do.
Mr.
We both
Basso.
have Mr. Basso.
Love the man. Absolutely great teacher.
Here's what I'm saying, you guys, everybody listening. If we get 1,000 likes on the video, we'll get Mr. Basso.
We will
on an episode.
somehow convince
We'll get
Mr.
Basso on an
Basso to
episode.
come on
But
the podcast.
You have to blow up the
You
podcast.
gotta smash the like button, okay? I need you guys to share it with your friends. Yo, Graham, you gonna share it with your friends?
Of course.
Dude, I'd love if you'd share it for your friends.
Dude, of course.
Dude, you're gonna just send it to me.
Gotta spread the love.
You know why?
Why?
I'm your friend.
Oh, of course.
You're my friend.
You're my friend.
We're like brothers.
We are.
Only
like,
closer.
Brother.
Because we're conjoined at the hip.
Yes.
Except not. We're like
Except
we're metaphorically conjoined at the hip.
Figuratively.
Yes. Well, Graham, I think this is a good time to transition to our new segment of the podcast. You know, we did it last week. We're doing it again. It's with our boy, Tyler. And today, he's going to be presenting Sean versus Presidents, which is the segment where he ranks down my stats and how I would beat up the presidents, or not, or get beat up by the presidents. So, Tyler, if you're there, you want to unmute. There we go. How are you doing today, Tyler?
Doing all right.
You doing all right?
Good to be back.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a little infographic here of me, John Quincy Adams, or not.
Yep.
Me,
So,
yeah, go ahead. What's
so
your spiel?
Quincy Adams, he's on the shorter side for presidents. He's got a little bit of heft though.
A little bit
A little heavy.
Oh my God.
He was known as the madman of Massachusetts. I don't know if you guys mentioned this before, but after he lost re-election, he just straight up quit politics. He left straight up.
Well, he didn't really. He served in Congress.
Damn.
We just said damn. We just said that.
All right, so maybe the source I'm looking at.
Man, you're gonna have to fact check that one.
Hold on. I will check after. We will.
He serves in
have
Congress
What am I looking at?
from like 1830 to almost 1850. He does.
All right, we're gonna have to cut that out then.
We're gonna have to edit. We're not editing it out. We're keeping that in. That's funny as hell.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Did
Yeah,
I have
you
time
know
to
what?
edit this?
Man, you got time to do it. You got time to edit it.
Raw footage. All raw footage.
Nah, this is real. We do it raw.
the first take.
We do
It's
it
the first
live.
take.
It's first
Live.
take.
First
First
take.
take. There we go. All right.
One take.
All right. So anyway, back
Yeah.
to the infographic.
Yeah.
So Quincy Adams, you might he's an old dude, right? Similar age to Monroe at the time of entering his presidency. But you'll notice his stamina is a little bit higher than Monroe's was, and that's because in his earlier years, his teenage years, Adams excessively adventured around Europe, and he tried to find some sort of life there, but he ended up not liking it, so he ended up returning here. But I came to the conclusion that he might as well be a little more in shape than Monroe was. Obviously, not as in shape as Sean.
Clearly.
Clearly.
But another old guy. I don't see Adams really having a chance against you. So we're gonna call this your fifth win.
Wow.
Yes,
One and
So that
sir.
5-1.
five win streak,
I'm on a 5
five
winning
match win
streak.
streak. So
I have a feeling it's gonna be broken soon.
I do
Me
too.
too.
But,
Yeah, no, our next guy's gonna kick my ass.
yeah. Well,
Oh,
we will.
yeah.
Next week on Sean versus Presidents, we will find out.
We
So
will find out. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, Tyler.
course.
It was a pleasure
Yes.
having you.
of course.
All right,
All right.
we'll see you later. Goodbye, my friend. Well,
I,
it's interesting.
it was interesting.
You know, let's look, when you look at the stats, I have basically everything higher than Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really blow him out of
Well,
here.
I mean, like he is very similar to John Adams, as he's his son.
I guess that
Clearly,
makes sense.
yeah, it does make sense. It makes a lot of sense. Let me just check on time. We've got a good chunk of time left, Graham.
Really?
Yeah. What do you think we should talk about? Let's go off the cuff.
Go off the cuff?
Yeah.
So, recently, Sean and I thought you guys would like to know, we got accepted to a prestigious university.
We did actually.
In fact, we thought it was very interesting because you know how much Sean and I love America.
We love America.
We love America
America.
so much
Land of the free.
that we applied
Home of the
to
Whopper.
American University,
Yes.
and they only accept the most American loving people.
37% of people.
37%.
the
rate.
true Americans.
Only the true Americans get accepted.
Yes.
And I'm proud to say that Sean and I are one of them.
We've got accepted, you know.
We got accepted.
Just a little background on us, right, for you listeners at home. To most of you, if you don't know us, we are seniors in high school. We're getting ready to commit to college very soon in the upcoming months. And yeah, so we've gotten accepted to America. I've gotten accepted to, I think, 7 now. How many have you gotten to,
beast.
Graham?
I think I'm at 8.
8? Wow.
No, 9.
9.
I'm at 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
We got some choices in between us.
We do.
A lot of the universities we've applied to, we share. Like
It
I
is
know you
interesting.
applied to American, I applied to American, you got into Pitt, I got into Pitt.
You applied to Delaware. I applied to Delaware.
Yeah, we both got into Delaware. Did you get into Delaware?
Yeah, I got into Delaware.
Yo, that's
Yeah, of course I got into
congratulations.
Delaware. Bro, my dad went there.
Dude, I know you were getting into Delaware. I haven't gotten rejected yet, which is awesome.
Okay, beast.
Yeah, what about you?
Going
What
for
about
that?
you?
You going for that?
I'm trying to
not-
keep that win streak. I got 2
I've
more
not
to hear
gotten
back
rejected
from.
either.
Dude, that's awesome.
Not gotten rejected either.
Who else
So
do you got?
wait.
Who do you have to hear back from, Graham?
I'm good on everybody.
You've heard back from everyone?
Yeah, American was my last school.
Wow. So you went what? 9 for 9?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds about right.
Wow. Wait, did you apply to Villanova though?
Nova though, we got deferred. I
Oh,
got deferred.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we're
we're
waiting on that.
Yeah, that's the one
We
thing
got-
we're
we're
waiting
waiting
on.
on that. So
I'm
that
also
could be,
waiting for
we could
Nova.
watch. We
Nova
could be,
April 1st is when the Nova decision comes out. That's probably my like big reach school that
Same
I
here.
applied to. Yeah, because like Nova's pretty difficult to get into.
So we 9 for 10.
I think we will go. I think we got a good chance. I hope we can keep the streak alive. It'll be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, what else could we talk about? We did college admissions. I don't know. This is gonna come out of left field, but it's been on my mind, Graham. Now, so Graham and I we've been in our unit for AP Gov. We've been learning about the judicial branch,
Oh yeah.
which includes Supreme Court cases. So we've studied a bunch of Supreme Court cases. So I gotta ask you, Graham, in your opinion, what is your favorite Supreme Court case?
Oh,
Good question, right?
that is a good question.
I might have one that I like the most.
Yeah. I would have
Yeah.
to say my favorite. I think maybe Citizens United might be my favorite case.
You're a fan of Citizens.
I think it's what I'm writing my paper on for AP Go. I
Wow.
don't know. I like a lot of them, but I think that one's very, in my opinion, I thought it was interesting.
Well, Graham, I'm gonna have to agree to you. I was thinking Citizens United as well.
Really?
There's a lot of good ones in there. Citizens United is a very good case. Another one I'm partial to is Gideon v. Wainwright, which helps establish the right to a lawyer, attorney.
I like that.
They kind of, Gideon, he has his trial. He has to represent himself because he cannot afford a lawyer, and he loses the case. But then he kind of appeals that decision to the Supreme Court, saying, "Hey, this trial was unconstitutional because they did not provide a lawyer for me," and they agree with him, and they redo the trial, and Gideon is found to be innocent. That's a pretty cool case. What's some other cool cases?
I would say Marbury versus
Marbury
Madison.
v. Madison is the GOAT. That's like the Supreme Court cases of Supreme Court cases. Like, it helps establish judicial review, which
it makes the Supreme Court.
It literally makes the Supreme Court, like literally. It's awesome.
Honestly, and now this isn't like a good one or anything, but I thought, the Dred Scott case, very interesting, very controversial.
It's not a good one.
It's not a good one, but I just think it's very interesting.
It is one of the Supreme Court cases that the Supreme Court absolutely got wrong.
They absolutely got wrong.
Absolutely got wrong.
Like shows how.
Yeah.
I think it shows how the government can be flawed. It shows
a flawed process. Yeah.
It is a flawed process, and it shows that the government's not as perfect as everybody believes it is.
Like if someone tries to argue to you that's like, oh yeah, the Supreme Court's decisions are always good, just bring up Dred Scott, and they'll be like, ooh, yeah, that's not it.
Yeah, I mean,
that ain't
shows.
It, Chief. Yeah, Dred Scott was kind of fucked. What's another cool Supreme Court case? What else?
What about the Nixon case?
Oh, the Nixon case. Oh,
the
papers. I'm not too familiar with that one, actually.
Well, another one. Another one that's our favorite.
What is that?
U.S. v. Lopez.
U.S. v. Okay. So let me just explain. So U.S. v. Lopez was a case where this guy, he's a high school senior, brings a firearm into a school as a concealed carry. And obviously he gets charged under like state law. But what happens is the federal government, they want to charge them under this 1990 Gun-Free Schools Act, right?
Uh-huh.
So they drop the charges from the state and they try to get them under the federal law. But what happens is they challenge that law and they say it's unconstitutional because Congress used the Commerce Clause to pass the law. They're saying, hey, because we have the right to regulate interstate commerce, we can regulate firearm possession. So the court rules the law unconstitutional. And what happens is, because they can no longer recharge Lopez in the state, he basically just gets off.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts. So yeah, you sometimes gotta watch yourself. You can't drop those state charges, especially with constitutional issues like that, because sometimes you won't get them. And they didn't get them. Probably my favorite quote from our AP Gov teacher when he's referring to the case. He said Lopez had that heater on him.
He did.
He had that heater on him. I'm like, he did.
Really did.
He really had that heater on. I don't know why. It's just nuts to me. What are some other cool Supreme Court cases? Engel v. Vitale. That's a pretty cool one.
I like that one.
Deals with religion in schools,
Yeah. I agree with that.
You have the classic ones like Gibbons Ogden and all that stuff.
Always interesting.
Always. We got some interesting stuff. We are actually need to start wrapping up, right? We only have let me see, a minute left. So, anything you want to say to the people before we wrap things up?
Just kind of how we always end it. We're always willing to have guests on the show. So if there's a president you're interested in, reach out to Sean or me and say, hey, I'd like to do this president, and
yeah,
we'll hook you up. We'll figure it out. If we can't get with that one, we always have access to other presidents. Just let us know, because we'd love to have you on. We think it's a great idea. Everybody learns. Everybody has a great time.
Mm-hmm.
So just always reach out. And remember, 1,000 likes.
1,000 likes, and we get Mr. Basso. We get Mr. Basso. Now, I will give you a little sneak peek for next week. Obviously, we're doing Andrew Jackson. He is a very, very interesting president. And he does a lot to expand executive power. He's extremely important to the history of the nation. And we're going to have a guest star on that one. And our guest star, I would argue, is going to be equally as important to the history of our nation as Jackson. And that is our good friend Rohan. Now, if you know Rohan, the man's an absolute legend, absolute G. We love the guy.
Absolute.
He's a good sport. You know,
we call him the Prophet.
We call him the Prophet Rohamid. Even though his name's Rohan, we know we do a little play on words because he really is a holy figure in our eyes. But yeah, that's a little sneak peek for next week. I think it's time to sign off. So this is Big Stick Policy, episode 6. John Quincy Adams signing off. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.